Hey friends, today we are going to make a slab constructed mug without using an armature. Pictured here are the things you're going to need for this project, so that includes a piece of canvas to roll out your slabs, 2 sticks to make sure your slab is consistent, obviously a rolling pin to roll out your slabs, your freshly wedged clay, a wire to cut your clay, a modeling tool, slip, a fettling knife, a paintbrush just to apply that slip, a roller not pictured, and also not pictured a banding wheel just when you get to the end of your project. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to roll out a small piece of clay to a consistent thickness, and then using a compass you're going to measure out the size of your bottom. Like we've done for various projects, I'm going to use that compass, putting the point in the middle and then twisting it around so I have that circle. Once I have that circle, I am then going to try my best just to fill in that hole. If need be, I can always add a little bit of clay to the bottom if I still have a little bit of a hole. Once I have my bottom measured out, I can just use my fettling knife to first trace and then cut out my bottom. Once I have my bottom cut to size, I am then going to roll out a slightly larger piece of clay so I have the dimensions that I will need to make my actual cylinder or my mug. So I'm going to make sure I use a roller to make sure all of my lines are cut straight. And once I have that slab, I am then going to score and slip the bottom, make sure that is really nice and scored. And I'm also going to score the bottom of my mug, and I'm going to slip, of course, and also score the sides where I'm going to be attaching my mug together. So once I have everything measured to size and scored and slip, I am then going to start my construction. You'll see I have no armature. So I'm just going to wrap my flat slab around my base. I want to be careful to make sure I have a little bit of overhang, so that way I have a good connection point and I can really smear out that seam to make sure it's going to be watertight. Once I have that wrapped around, I can then flip that over since it is going to be pretty structurally sound just because it is in a cylinder shape. I'm going to use my wooden modeling tool and I'm going to smear that bottom really nice and tight so I can be sure that there is going to be no water leakage. I'm going to do the same thing on the inside as I did on the outside. You'll notice here that my mug got a little bit thicker. I had a little bit of technical difficulties while filming and had to recreate another slab. So this is now a second slab, but I did the first part just the same. Now I'm going to be moving to the outside using my wooden modeling tool. I'm going to make sure to secure that connection. I'm going to do the same thing to that inside seam. I don't want to see that seam inside or outside. So anytime I'm applying any pressure, I'm holding that mug either on the inside or the outside, opposite to where I am holding that modeling tool. I'm going to go back to the outside just to make sure all of my connection points are watertight. Once you have finished all of your connections, you definitely want to go back and just check to make sure you don't have any lines, it doesn't look like there's any cracks that would allow any water or liquid to escape from your mug. Once you have your mug created, you can then decide what type of handle you would like. You can do more of a traditional handle, mix it up a little bit with a funky shape, add some texture or designs to it. You could even do a very basic handle, but do 2 of them. I don't know. You could make it a decorative sculptural handle, just like this one, this little deer antler, or really go fancy with this beautiful elephant shape. I was really inspired to create this little hand-warming mug moment so that you would hold the actual mug to warm your hand. I'm going to walk you through the steps on how to make a handle like this, but remember that you can make any handle you would like, and you are only restrained by your willingness to experiment and your own imagination. For my design, since I'm going to have a flat handle, I'm just going to use a slab. Once again, I'm going to use just some leftover slab, cut the size that I need with a scalloped edge in the front and then a 45-degree angle. Now, if you want more of a traditional or decorative handle, you might want to start yours by creating just a basic coil. Depending on your design, might need to be thicker, it might need to be a little bit thinner, and maybe tapered or chunkier at one end. Going back to my design, I'm obviously going to score and slip both my handle piece and my cylinder mug piece. I'm really going to make sure to smear out and make sure those connection points are really secure. When you're making something as durable as a handle, those connection points are utterly important. At this point, your handle will be nice and secured. You will see that I've stuffed the inside of my cylinder with paper towels. This is just to protect the integrity of it at this stage. So we're really working on craftsmanship now, making sure that we have no messy edges, we have no burrs or no uneven sides. So this is where a lot of that time and effort will now go into your cylinder. So if you need to work on the inside more, you can just remove those paper towels and reinsert them later. I'm just using the rubber rib just to clean up any uneven surfaces. Please be careful to always support your cylinder or your mug with your hand on the opposite side to make sure you don't have any warping or cracking on your mug or cylinder. Now that you've created smooth surfaces inside and out, it is now just time to trim up that top edge. So just using a knife and a banding wheel, you're just going to very gently glide that knife just through the top layer of that clay, just to make sure you have a nice smooth lip. Once your lip is nice and smooth and even, you're then going to take a sponge and you're just going to run it along the top side of your mug or your cylinder, and that's just going to make sure there's no sharp edges that would cut you or hurt you whenever you are taking a drink. Now that we have completed the construction of our mug or cylinder, it is now time for surface treatments. This is really where you're going to make your mug stand out or make it look different or make it look unique and your own. I love these little pearl sprigs that I created. They're just one of my favorite things. I think they are so neat. So I wanted to bring them into this next project. I made my mold and then obviously I cut it down so I could put it onto my mug really nice and easily. I scored and slipped, of course, and then I just used a little modeling tool just to make sure that connection point was nice and smoothed out, just working on that craftsmanship. I love those pearls so much that I decided to continue this design, do another strip, and just keep working down my mug onto the base. I thought it started to look like Ursula from The Little Mermaid, so I just totally ran with that, continuing to score and slip, and just work on that craftsmanship to make sure those connection points are nice and smooth. So keeping with that Ursula theme, I decided to use 2 different purpled colors of underglaze. I love underglaze is because what you see is what you get. What you paint on, it's going to be roughly that same color, unlike actual glaze where it's a chemical reaction that happens in the kiln. So you just paint that onto either your greenware or your bisqueware. So it is nice you can paint it onto greenware. Just please don't paint it on your piece when it is in its bone dry state, because the likelihood of it cracking goes up. You want to apply multiple layers of this underglaze until you reach that opacity or opaqueness that you are looking for. I believe I did 3 layers, waiting for the layer underneath to dry before adding that additional layer. I am just in love with how this turned out. I think it's so fun and so neat. My next step for this is to then obviously bisque fire it, and then once it's bisque fired, I am going to clear glaze the purple areas and then use a really nice glossy black glaze for everything else, the outside and the inside, to really give that Ursula look. I really hope that you have as much fun as I did creating this mug. Just remember that you can really do anything you would like. The sky's the limit for this one for sure. But if you have any questions about the process or any questions about the handle that you can do, we can definitely discuss that, and we can even do some material explorations and just experiment a little bit with clay and see what works and what doesn't work. And as always, if you have any questions at all, you can always email me at mkelly@crlions.org.